Welcome back to the BTB Show, everyone. I'm in the studio. We got everyone here. We got Jay, we got Omar, and we got Earl. We're talking about these last couple play-in games. The first four have been absolute bangers. We're going to end it off tonight with some Magic versus Hornets and some Suns versus Warriors. We're going to start out east. I believe it's the earlier game. I would assume it's the earlier game. Orlando hosting Charlotte. Let's start it off with our resident Magic fan, Jay. How do you have this game ending? Because one of these teams is going home.
Um, I am the Magic Homer on this podcast, and I'm gonna be completely honest. We don't deserve. Excuse me. We don't deserve to be in the playoffs. This team is cracked. Is not It's not a team right now. Like there was a report that came out recently that Jamal Mosley has just completely lost the locker room. Like him and Paolo are not on the same page. Things are not looking good. If you looked at that last playing game, Paolo was awful. Franz like he just has not gotten his legs back under him. Desmond Bain is the only consistent player on the Magic right now. Like he is all that we have on a consistent basis. Jalen Suggs is in and out. This team is just they're just not playoff bound. I don't want to see it. I would rather see the Hornets, younger team, more fun to watch. And in a one-off game, I just don't know. I mean, the Magic are, and this might be crazy. I still think the Magic are better than the Hornets, but they are not obviously playing better than the Hornets. They just don't have a good coach. Like any coach can coach the Magic better than what Jamal Mosley's doing right now. Mosley just does not know how to coach Paolo Banchero. He is not a bad basketball player. He just needs that coaching there, and they don't have that right now. But who do I have for this game? I am rooting for the Hornets, bro. I don't want to see the Magic, and I would not like to see them go against who would they be playing? The Pistons first round?
Pistons.
Yeah, I saw the two Magic games versus the Pistons this year in Orlando. We don't stand a chance. I mean, the one game that we had, not even it was probably like a little under a month ago, probably 4 weeks ago. The Magic were up by 13 and a half and lost the game by 11 points. And then they asked Jamal Mosley, what did you think happened in the game? And they asked him, did he make an adjustment? He said, yeah, we made adjustments, but the guys just didn't respond. What kind of response is that as a coach? Like, and then they asked Paulo Banchero what happened. He's saying, ask coach. Like, it's just it's no unity on this team. They are not one anymore. They're not the Orlando Magic that are just going to play defense every night and play hard, and they're just going to find points. The defense fell off. The offense is getting worse day by day. I'm rooting for the Hornets, man. I think the Magic, I just want to see Mosley gone as quick as possible. Can't lie.
Omar, what about you?
I mean, yeah, this reminds me of a time where, I mean, this reminds me of a time earlier this year where we were talking about the Knicks and how they had lost their identity because we thought Tom Thibodeau really implemented that defensive culture, which he did, but it came at a cost when he was fired. So this kind of reminds me of that. I'm not sure what really happened to make it really bad. I have to say I'm trying to say this respectfully, but I'm not sure where the Magic really went wrong there. There was no real change in personnel. There was no real change to the roster. So I'm not sure why the defense took such a big nosedive. Um at least with the Knicks, you would be able to pinpoint like, yeah, we had Tom Thibodeau, one of the best defensive coaches ever. So it was kind of like, yeah, it kind of makes sense how the defense would fall off. With the Magic, it just seemed to take a nosedive. And with the offense, it's been well, Desmond Bain, whenever there's nothing happening for Desmond Bain, it just feels like the Magic becomes super, super, super stagnant and don't know what to do with the ball. And the other night, I was yelling in the group chat. Y'all can back me up on this. Paolo has to shoot the ball, even if you're 0 for 4, man. If you're open, shoot it, please. Figure it out. Get your rhythm. You're the leader on this team. If it means getting a tough bucket, you got to get a tough bucket. If it takes 5 shots, it takes 5 shots. Don't let the coach bench you before you get something on the board. Um, but before I turn this into a Magic rant, again, I agree with Jay. I mean, Charlotte Hornets are the more exciting team in this matchup, and I honestly do feel like they could really. I mean, look, they can beat. I really do feel like they could beat the Magic, but it really depends on where Paulo Banchero ends up. If Paulo Banchero has a bad night, the Charlottes have a good night. If If he has a good night, Charlotte has a bad night. So we'll see what happens, but it's all in the hands of one man, Paolo Banchero. I'll pass it back to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Max. What you got, brother?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Charlotte on this one. It feels like there's just absolutely no momentum behind the Magic right now. I hate to say it, but it does kind of feel inevitable that this is going to be their last game of the season. They went into the playoffs with no momentum, falling to the 8th seed at the last second. Charlotte's a team with all the momentum, although their game against Miami was close, and it took a miraculous comeback to beat them without Bam Adebayo. I do still think the Hornets have proven to be the better team in the second half of the season. They're coming in hot. The Magic have no chemistry, no momentum. I'm taking Charlotte in this one. But, Earl, you can tell me why I'm wrong.
It's a lot of talk about the Orlando Magic, man. Let's get off the Magic train, man. I'll say this, man. The Charlotte Hornets deserve to be here. We're talking about a team. Obviously, we talk about teams that take these huge leaps as far as organizations, and they've done that. They drafted Concanipple. He becomes the second most threes in the season, most by a rookie in the season. And looking at this matchup, there was a lot of outliers in that Miami Heat game, and they still won. Concanipple shot 2 for 12 from the field. LaMelo Ball, which was crazy, shot 12 for 31. Like, they had a really inefficient night. It was really carried by Miles Bridges. Shout out to Kobe White. He had a spectacular masterclass. We talked about it last week about him missing, I think it was that Celtics game or the week before that, and that cost them. But having him as a six-man option, he was literally a starting guard, shout out to Jay, for the Bulls, and you get that production off the bench. So I think the Hornets just have the edge overall. Magic, y'all know how I feel about the Magic, man. Paolo Banchero is the most fraudulent star player in the NBA. I'm sorry. He literally, I will say, we talk about consistency. I actually looked at the numbers because I thought it was funny. I thought it was tripping. So versus the Celtics, he put up 7 for 22, 0 for 5 from 3. Then I blinked my eyes, spin around 4 times. And then versus the 76ers, he went 7 for 22, 0 for 5 from 3. So literally he had the same exact game, minus a couple rebound differences. And I've said this before, he's kind of getting left behind in his class of players that I consider him to be in. Last year, it was like the Cade Cunninghams, the Tyrese Halliburtons of the world. I cannot put Paolo in those conversations because I feel like when it comes to these big games, he just hasn't proven to show up. I think, obviously, like Jay said, a lot of that can come with coaching. It's about where you're supposed to be on the floor, spacing, defensive sets, sure. But at the same time, I see plays where Paolo Banchero is dribbling up the ball and he's just bouncing off his knee, goes out of bounds. I see him where he's literally terrified to shoot the ball. Terrified. And once the defense has snipped that out, they put you in that zone, they're daring the best player on the floor, supposed to be best player, to shoot. And he doesn't want to shoot, he just wants to drive. It's easy to shut that down, especially if you talk about a deep run. Let's say you go to the finals and you got to play a Wemby. What do you think is going to happen? You think Paolo Banchero is going to get to the paint every single time on Wemby? Absolutely not. He's going to have to be a jump shooter. So long story short, I got the Hornets, man. They've been absolutely balling. And I do not want to see a Magic series. I would love to see Hornets play in a real round of basketball.
Well, I know you talked a lot there about Paolo Banchero and the stars that he's kind of in those conversations with. Another game that has a couple big stars in it is that Western Conference play in the Suns versus the Warriors. Jay swinging it back around to you. Steph Curry outdueled Kawhi Leonard in his last game. Does he have it in him to outduel Devin Booker with a playoff spot on the line?
Just to talk about that game first, bro, sometimes I watch Stephen Curry and I literally think he's the best player in the NBA. Like, there's just no way they should have won that game. There's no way they should have won that game, bro. It's just like the things that he's doing, that last play that he ran with Draymond Green, the handoff, fake half spin to get the ball, step back on Lopez was like, what is really going on right now? Like, they really just came back and beat the Clippers, who are obviously the better team, with Darius Garland, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, Bennedict Mathurin. It's really just Steph Curry and the guys. Steph Curry and friends and Draymond playing defense. Like, he just turned back the clock to 2016, locked Kawhi Leonard down. Kawhi Leonard literally scored 2 points, garbage bucket dunk in the last 20 seconds. Like, he didn't let Kawhi Leonard score the whole fourth quarter, bro. Like, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, they're not going to do anything versus the Thunder. Let me chill out. I think they could beat the Suns in a one-off game. Just off just the veteranship. I mean, I saw the Suns fold a game against the Blazers the other night, in a spot where it kind of mattered because I just don't see them doing it against a team like Golden State that is battle tested, bro. They have 4 rings with Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. 4 rings before those between those guys. Jalen Green never been there. Devin Booker's been to a finals but can't get over the hump. This Phoenix team just has no experience. I'm riding with the Warriors, even though the Suns do have a good team to go up against them. I got to stick with Steph, man. What I saw that night was unbelievable. And to talk about the Suns a little bit, they had moments in that Blazers game where they had that game and they let that game go. They just don't get enough. They don't get enough good offensive possessions. Jalen Green took 29 shots in that game. You just ain't gonna win a basketball game when Jalen Green's taking 29 shots and Devin Booker's only taking 17 shots. Like, yeah, D-Book had an efficient game, but give some of those shots to Dylan Brooks who only had 10 attempts, to Devin Booker. Like, why is Jalen Green shooting the ball so many times? You know he had a pretty good game, but that's just not the recipe for success for the Suns. Their MO this year has been sharing the ball between their 3 guys. Really, it was Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker before Jalen Green came back where they had their best stretch of basketball. But sharing the ball between those 3 guys where everybody's getting up a solid amount of shots and playing tough defense, because Jordan Knott is coaching the hell out of this team, I cannot lie. The only shot they have is they just swarm Steph Curry, and Dylan Brooks gets under his skin and fouls out and just gets Curry off his game. Like, but unless that happens, man, I'm riding with the Warriors in this one, y'all. I can't lie.
We got one person riding with the Warriors. Omar, are you going with Steve Kerr and the gang?
I gotta say, I think I do. And it's because it's not a 7-game series. I'll say that. I think the Warriors can pull out one single game against the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns do have the personnel to actually defend the Golden State Warriors. I really do feel like that's possible for them versus their game that they had last week where I didn't really think they had that size in regards to who they were dealing with. But also, in that game, it did take a heroic effort from Denny Advia to really win the Portland Trailblazers that game. So I gotta say, it's all credit to where credit is due. The Phoenix Suns didn't make it easy. So shout out to them for at least that. And the Portland Trailblazers are no easy feat at this time. Denny Advia playing out of his mind, Dame Lillard right around the corner. It's crazy to think about that they haven't even reached their peak yet. But to bring it back, I really do think the Warriors are going to pull this out, and it's less about the Suns and more about the Warriors because again, I do think they have the personnel to do it, and the Suns will make it tough. So I think the Warriors will win by like a very, very small margin, in my opinion. But that's all I got.
Earl, you got any defense for the Suns here?
Nah, let's head on to the pain. I told you guys last video about the playing game. Why would I ever bet against Steph Curry? When it comes down to a one-off game, season on the line, I'm going with Steph Curry unless they're playing LeBron James. Hashtag I seen 3 rims, shot in the middle. But other than that, Steph Curry and the Warriors in these playing games, I don't know what happens. He just gets these superpowers. And I think to the credit, experience is everything, especially in tough games like this. Like the Warriors, you got to think about it. The Warriors have seen everything. They've played without Steph Curry and try to compete at times. They play with Klay Thompson getting injured, Draymond Green at times. Jimmy Butler is injured on this team. Just in general, the history of the Warriors, they always find a way to prevail. And I think it's no different here. When it comes down to making winning plays, last 3 minutes of the game, the most important stretches of the game, there's no way I'm picking the Suns over the Warriors. I can't. Just like Omar said, like there was times in last game with the Suns versus Portland, they lose control of their offense. They don't know where to go to the ball. You have to share the ball with Jalen Green, Devin Booker, and who am I forgetting? Dylan Brooks. And I think it's hard at times. Like I think it definitely should be Devin Booker, but when other guys are hot, I feel like they have a hard time choosing who's my go-to, and that's a problem. When going gets tough, you know what's happening. Steph Curry is going to get that ball, and he's going to make a play. Like there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt in the Warriors' game plan ever. So when I think about that compared to the Suns, there's no way on earth I'm going against anybody else in this matchup. But going for the Warriors, bro. I'm doubling down. We're here. We're gonna get it. Warriors gonna get a whole first round playoffs after losing Jimmy Butler, whatever. And shout out to Porzingis. He was a key last game as well. I think he will be in this game too.
Shout out Big Al too.
Yes.
I'll put in a word for the Suns here. While Golden State's win was very impressive, I think it is important to remember that going into that game, I believe they had lost 7 of their last 8, and I think 4 or 5 games when Steph Curry played. And going into the fourth quarter of that game, or I think with maybe a minute or two into that fourth quarter, they were down by 13 points to the Clippers. And it did take a heroic Steph Curry masterclass and a random Al Horford, hot streak to get them back into that game. So while I was impressed by that win, I don't think they dominated enough for me to think that this team can pull it off again. I do think the Suns are just a more complete team. The offensive worries are definitely, that's a valid concern. Although I would say that Devin Booker is going to have a better game than he had in the first play-in game. I think you can expect at least 30 from him. And I do look at that team. I think there's a more complete roster there. Not only that, but they will have home court advantage. So I'm going to do what Earl said not to do. I'm going to bet against Steph Curry. I don't think that he can replicate that again in a win. Maybe Curry will also have 30, but unless you're getting 20 from Al Horford and 20 from Guy Santos and 15 from Porzingis again, I don't think it'll be enough. But that's my 2 cents on it. Let us know in the comment section below what you guys think, both about the Suns-Warriors game and the Hornets versus Magic game. As always, keep an eye out for our content here on the BTB Show on YouTube. Might also have some stuff going up on other platforms as well. So we're happy to have you guys along for this playoff ride as we wrap up the play-in tournament. Hope you guys enjoyed these games tonight. We'll see you all for the playoffs. Adios, everybody.